Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Set Hebrew, and I'm coming to you today with another exciting edition of Ask An Aquarius. So, if you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. So, I got a message from an Aquarius, and she said that she was dating a Pisces. Pisces was really sweet, being very good to her, being a very gentleman, really nice guy. Until his wife called her. So she finds out that the Pisces is married. The Pisces tried to lie and play it off, act like, oh, I thought we was divorced. He just straight went to Lieville, okay? And then she tells me that prior to this, it's been about a couple of months of this, he had stopped working, okay? And this was like a week into it. So here we are 3 months later, he's still pretending like he's going to work every day. So he's pretending like he's going to work, having very vivid stories about what happened at work, making up stories about what happened that day. And she also said he had very vivid stories about what happened during his divorce, the divorce that never occurred. So she's asking me, what do I think about this whole situation? And, why is this happening? And I'm like, first of all, and most importantly, your first mistake was sticking around too long. That was your first mistake. He wouldn't have even got that far if you would have cut it that first week. You said the first week you knew he was lying about having lost his job. This lie continued for 3 months. And every day you sat and let him make up stories about what was happening at work and what's going on in his life. Now, the wife you didn't find out about until 3 months later. But my thing to you is that why did you let it get that far? He wouldn't have got past the first week with me. The first week I've realized that he was lying about working and making up stories about his job. That first week, you knew by the end of the week. Now let's say you hung in there and gave him the benefit of the doubt for another week. So for the first 2 weeks, you already knew he was a liar. The first 2 weeks into seeing him, you knew he was a liar. You cannot build a foundation with a liar. You can't build anything with a liar. You can't build a relationship. I wouldn't even build a Hot Wheels car with a liar. You can't build anything with a liar because you never know when they're telling the truth or not. And if he's making up stories about a job that he's going to that he really don't have, he got problems. He got real issues. There's something upstairs that his pancake is short of at least one or two. His stack is, His stack is short of 1 or 2 pancakes, okay? His Happy Meal is short of the toy. Something is not there that's supposed to be there is my point. So his logic is all screwed up. Not only are you lying to this person, but you're making up stories about what happened that didn't happen. He told you vivid stories about giving her the divorce papers and her crying and all that other stuff, and none of this really happened. Like, he got problems, and you knew that in the first 2 weeks. And that's my point to people. I read a quote the other day, and the quote said, the things that you ignore in the beginning are the things that you will leave them for in the end. And it's very true. Most of the things we leave a person for are things we already knew in the beginning. So stop blowing past the red flags in the beginning. I used to do that too. Big mistake. Don't do that anymore. All you guys that are out there, when you meet somebody and they screw up majorly in the first couple weeks, that's a deal breaker. Now, everything's not a deal breaker, People are human, but there are certain things that are deal breakers. Lying about something and making up stories about it, that's a deal breaker. Treachery is a deal breaker. Sleeping with one of your friends is a deal breaker. There are a lot of deal breakers, and you have to figure out for yourself which ones are deal breakers. Everything's not a deal breaker for everybody, but certain things are universal deal breakers. And lying about something like that in the first 2 weeks, and you knew he was lying, and then making up stories about this imaginary job that you don't even have, deal breaker in the first 2 weeks. As soon as I realized that's what was going on, he never would have seen me again. I would have ghosted him immediately. I probably would, at this point in my life, I would have told him, look here, honey, I don't know what's going on with you, but I know that you're lying, and it's not something I want to deal with in my life. I just would have told him and then left. That's it. It's over. I'm going moving on. And my point to you is that the reason is because, like I said, these small things that you ignore in the beginning are what you're going to end up leaving them for eventually. So then 3 months later, it comes out he's lying about his whole relationship with his wife. But you already knew he was a liar. So liars lie about all kind of things. Liars lie whenever it's convenient for them. Some liars just lie for sport. So you already knew these things in the first 2 weeks. So I'm not saying any of this was your fault. The only mistake that you really truthfully made, I'm going to be honest with you, is you stuck around too damn long. You stuck around way too long. After that first week, that second, I'll give you the second week. But after that second week, no. Because by the second week, it's solidified that he's a liar. You already know he has lost a job, and every day for 2 weeks, that's 14 days. So he made up 14 different stories about what happened at work that day. Let's take off for weekends. So let's say 10 days. So he gave you 10 different stories about what's happening at work. That is a job he don't even have. That's a narcissist psychopath. Okay? That's somebody that got some real issues. And then you said he's a Pisces. I told y'all about them water signs. Aquarius and a water sign. Especially you said you're an Aquarius sun and a Sagittarius moon, just like me. No water signs. They are going to be intriguing to you. They're intriguing to me. But I know how that's going to go. I know all that emotion, all the and Pisces in their negative form do make up stories and tell a bunch of lies. You know, different signs will lie. I think almost every sign will lie. But Pisces have this kind of fantasy thing going on. They always in the fantasies, you know. And when it comes to something like this, a negative Pisces, they'll lie about anything and everything, girl. So it is time to back off. But also in the future, be leery of the water signs. You got to do a real good compatibility chart if you want to be the water sign. If you want to be the water sign, you have to look at your compatibility chart immediately. Before even, when you first meet them, I'm like, what's your date of birth? What time were you born? What city was it in? As soon as I meet a water sign, I need all your credentials up front. Because I need to look at your compatibility chart. And if I'm trying to date you, I need to know what's up. Because some water signs might have air going on. They might have some fire going on. They might have something going on that we will be able to work it out. So I need to know immediately. So when it comes to water signs, be very careful with that energy. And that's astrology. But as far as life in general, don't blow past warning signs. The red flags you see in the first 2 weeks of the relationship are extremely important. Do not blow past them. Pay attention to those. And if they're deal breakers, like in this case, lying is a deal breaker, leave. Leave them alone immediately, because it's easier to get out of something that you just started. It's easier to get away from somebody because you don't really have all those feelings for the person. Y'all don't have no history yet, you know. It's easier to flee somebody that you met yesterday than it is to flee somebody 6 months later. Now y'all done had sex 20 million times. He done met your grandma. You know, it's a little harder at that point, even though you can still do it. It's harder at that point. So when it comes to this guy, I would cut him off. I wouldn't mess with him no more, you know. And in the future, remember what I said. Look out for those warning signs and be really, really careful. Okay? Take care.